in your past, you've worked on, significant businesses like 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐤𝐿 and other industrial businesses, CPG businesses, solve growth and cost problems. You've helped work on their businesses, positioning them for the next level or to solve industry problems, if you will. You wrote the book, The 80/20 CEO, and I've seen it in a lot of places. I know people are using it. And now you work with private equity firms to sort of lead and grow their most important portcos, get them to the next level. Bill, is there something in your past or that you're currently working on right now, a problem or an opportunity that you can share so we can understand, the flavor of your success and how you get there?
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. So first of all, thank you for having me today. This is exciting to be here. I just love your energy and enthusiasm. I really like how you come at not only this, but a lot of the businesses that you've helped and turned around. And then being a veteran, right? Wow. So we all got to look at you. Thank you for your service. So
it's my pleasure.
Yeah, maybe just starting out. So typically when people bring me in, they have some issue that they're dealing with, and the issue could be either a lack of growth or too much cost or whatever it is. If you look at it today, the biggest issue that most companies are facing, specifically in private equity, is too much debt, right? If you look back over the last 10, 15 years, the model was, and this was a great model, was you buy low and sell high. And just the actual, you had two things going for it. So one, the economy was improving and interest rates were coming down. That interest rate arbitrage created a lot of value there. Of we're just hanging on, you could get multiple expansion. In other words, the business just got worth more than what it was before. Now, that's changed, right? Over the last 5 years, it really started changing when you actually had to do something with it. And now, since interest rates have taken off, what has happened is most of the debt that companies like mine and others have are variable. In other words, it's not the same rate for that long period of time. Maybe in the best case, you're going to have a 5-year fix, but a lot of it changes. So just to give you an example, a company that maybe 2 years ago, with the debt profile they have, maybe they're paying $25 million in interest a year, just making up a number. That same company today is paying $100 million in interest in the same debt, in the same situation, in a market that candidly may be doing better, but is it really doing 4 times better? Companies that were, the deal was done, say, 5 years or longer ago, have generally we're in a little bit better shape from an interest rate. Companies that were done in the last 24 to 36 months have had a shock come to them just by the massive amount of interest rate changes that has happened to them. You got to figure out how to deal with that. You got to figure out what you're going to go do, and it's interesting. You look at the company and you're saying, well, maybe we're not doing well. We've got this interest problem. And you come in and you drive it as hard and as fast as you can. And that interest is keep going up. And the employees are like, as they should be, hey, we're doing so much better. You're like, no, not really. We're still running net cash flow because of what's happened with it. It's an interesting journey. I have learned more in the last 24 months than I probably learned my entire career up to this point.
So that's interesting. So what I heard you say is, lately a company can go through these cost reduction initiatives, let's say to reduce, cost of goods sold or something like that, increase their profit margin. But ultimately, with the increase in rates, and when you shake out everything to the net income level, it's a net zero benefit, and it kind of demoralizes people because we did all this work to take all this, meat or fat off the bone of the business, but these higher interest rates they just nullified all that work. Is that kind of what you're saying, and that can culturally sort of be defeating to a company to do that and not see the results because of those interest rates?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just to give you a real world example. So we have 2 things coming at us today if you lead a business. So we went through the pandemic, the only one I've ever been through, and wow, what a change that made, right? We were all in an office together, hanging out. Next thing you know, we're all in our basements as we are, our second bedrooms. We got this great technology where we can do this. We move out, we get ourselves settled. and we start getting the business back where it needs to be. Two things have happened since then. So the first is the cost of labor has gone through the roof. You have the government on one end. If you look at the California, I'm not in the fast food business, but I certainly identify if you have 60 locations or more, your cost of input on an hourly rate is $20 minimum now. That's not including benefits and everything else. So you're probably $30, $35. Then you have at the same time interest rates, which have gone from effectively zero to interest rate for a private equity company today that is doing well, you're probably 12 to 14%. And if you're struggling, you're probably looking at 17 to 18%, assuming you can even get the debt. And there's all these different levels of debt that you would go through. So
sure.
So you go from pandemics and things are going crazy. All of a sudden, the government injected a lot of cash in to the market. Sales started booming. Those sales have come back to earth, but your interest rate and your labor inputs and really cost of everything has gone through the roof. And you're taking these companies and these owners, whether you're private equity or whatever, and you're getting squeezed. The margins aren't there that people would think that they would be. Mm-hmm. You have to find a path through this, and it's not easy.
No, that's interesting. So how are you navigating that? So if we're seeing, labor prices increasing, we're seeing pressure on margins, because of labor prices. I know that, just in general, inflation, cost of materials. Now our bottom line is under attack through higher interest rates. How do you navigate this? Is somebody that leads a portco or works with private equity, to get to good outcomes?
Yeah, the only thing that I have found that really works is you have to get focused. And the way you get focused is you get to the data. So you have to take and you segment your business. And it's very simple to do. It doesn't mean it's easy, but the method is quite simple. You identify your best customers and your best products. And those are the ones where all your sales are coming from. The customers pay their bills on time. They buy a lot from you. The products that you're selling, you can make money on. They see value. You have something that you're offering that maybe they can't get somewhere else, or maybe just the way that you do it is something that they find desirable. You take the resources from the areas that you cannot make money, or maybe just for whatever reason you can't make money, maybe someone else. You shift those resources over to where the market has proven they'll pay you for it. And what that does for you, so as you were kind enough to mention out earlier, I wrote a book called The 80/20 CEO. It's based off of Pareto's principle, and it's very basis. Yeah. It's 20% of whatever you're doing provides 80% of your revenue, provides 80% of your profit. The insight into that's been around forever, but the insight, if you go back to Nichols at ITW, what he realized was at the same time, it took 20% of your assets to support that 80%. So 80% of your dollars comes from 20% of your customers. 20% of those resources are you supported. That 80% that's left over, the stuff that is not producing, you have to shift that to either the customers that like you, and you have to take in and do that, or you have to exit it. That money that you generate by either exiting it or putting it with the customers, that's how you do it. You quit doing things that lose money. It's no more complex than that.
Yeah, no, that is a very simple way to put it. It almost reminds me of I don't know, I think this is BCG's proprietary matrix. Which of these are stars? Which of these are cash cows? Which are question marks? Which are dogs? And then anything that's a dog, and maybe even some of the things that are question marks, and it's actually, those are most things. Cut them loose. Focus just on the 20% that you're doing well, because it takes all of that overhead and, cost of goods, all these things in your company, resources you're putting into products that really aren't moving the needle. So you're better off either shifting those resources or not using them at all, and then just overall, increasing your financial performance, not having these SKUs that are expensive to maintain and, low margins. So that really resonates. Have you ever heard of that, Mate? I'm sure you have, but that's what comes to mind initially.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I've seen it in the cash cow and the shooting star, and all that. I've used
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
I don't know if
similar.
it
Yeah.
was BCGs or Baines, but I'm sure one of the big guys came up with it. And
Yeah.
it's a fantastic matrix, and it really lays it out because, like, if you just stop and think, so your quad one customers, that's your A products and your A customers together produce 200% of your profit. This is absolutely it's provable. Now think about it. We don't get 200% profit. We only get 100%. You can only have what you have. That's 100%. 200% is coming out of that. The other three quadrants give away 100%. So if you can quit giving away half of your income, because that's where it's going, and put it all back in that quad A, you can survive the storm that we're going through of increased labor costs, increased input costs, increased interest costs, and it makes it so you have a chance to go be successful. Look, we want to pay our workers and our employees and our suppliers everything we can. We just have to have the money. And it's so easy to sit there and say, well, look, these entrepreneurs, they're taking all it. It doesn't work that way. Companies work on thin margins. The input costs are coming every day. You have to have some way of where you can give exceptional opportunities to your team, to your employees, to your folks that make it happen every day. You have to be a good partner to your suppliers and your customers. If you're not providing real value, they will get rid of you. And then whoever your investors are, you have to give a superior return. Those are the three requirements if you're going to make this work. And they have to be aligned. If anyone's too much, if you give too much away and any one of these, it goes out of balance, your business chance of failing really increases.